Well, 30 years ago, we had a severe problem of no jobs. We were exporting our young talent to Cincinnati and Detroit, Ypsilanti, and so on. Unemployment was very high. In short, we needed jobs. I called together people like me, hopefully, from several counties who were involved locally in recruiting business in their home community to talk about putting our chits together and working as a team for the region, not just our home county. I worried about getting that group in a room because we were pretty heavy competitors trying to recruit business and industry. But I found out quickly that they shared the same view, that we needed to work as a team, as a region.
We were all given the assignment to write a white paper on our vision of economic development in the 5th Congressional District as a region. And everybody wrote papers, and it seems that John Chowning and I had papers that were synergistic with each other. And so consequently, the congressman asked us if we would work together and merge our two thoughts into one.
The two of us worked together to put forward the initial articles of incorporation and sort of the corporate structure of SKED.
The vision of the board was to bring the full 5th Congressional District together. At that time, the counties and the cities were very much parochial, and they were interested in their own boundaries and creating economic development and business formations in their own geographies. And the point of the board was not to create a city organization or a county organization, but to create a regional organization.
I remember Congressman Rogers at our initial meeting after we had formed SKED, and we met at the old Holiday Inn here in Somerset. A congressman really challenging the mayors and the county judges to get on board and to put their parochialism and their partisan politics as well as regional politics, leave that at the door.
Then we took that group and we went to Frankfort and met with the Secretary of Commerce. At that time was Carol Nicely. He was Martha Lane Collins' Commerce Secretary. Toyota was a hot topic of the day. We knew that there would be some spin-off jobs from Toyota. So I think the main goal at that time was to crash the party, so to speak. We realized pretty quick after we met with Secretary Nicely that we needed to do an inventory of what our infrastructure was, what our water needs were, what our sewer needs was, in order to have industrial sites so that when the state sent us somebody that we would have something that they could work with.
Toyota probably is the biggest industrial find that Kentucky has ever had. We knew too at the time that Toyota would need a lot of supply companies around the whole state and region. So that helped us focus some effort on recruiting Japanese-based suppliers of Toyota.
In 1995, as part of a strategic planning session, we decided to expand the organization's mission. We began doing direct loans to entrepreneurs, to small business, to other manufacturers, to broaden the base of the overall economy within the region, not just focus on large-scale manufacturers, but also look at smaller businesses. One of the programs we did that with was through the SBA 504 program. That program allows SKED to make direct loans to hotels, motels, restaurants, and any number of small businesses. So a job is a job, and so that program allowed us to invest in a larger variety of businesses than we had in the past to create more jobs. In addition to the direct loan programs, we started to take advantage of the new technologies that were coming to America to attract business and industry. In particular, we developed a technology park in Somerset that allows us to attract high-tech, technology-based companies to the region.
Our historical manufacturing is changing, more advanced, less people, but the service industry, which is what Valley Oak provides a location for, that is what is growing, and that's what's growing in the future.
One of the projects in particular that I remember is with a company that was then called Presidium Learning at Valley Oak Technology Complex. I was the project manager at the state, and SKED had the lead with that company. when I met with the company and Greg and kept working with them and seeing the possibilities. Presidium came here with 15 people, and now they're Blackboard, and they employ up to 500 people.
Somewhere around 2002 or so, again, our executive director, Greg Jones, recognized that there were some federal funds available to develop a rail park. This being where just a transportation link, so we could tie in what's intermodal, which is the trucking transportation, in with the rail transportation. Rail moves things so much more inexpensively and so much more efficiently, but they can't hit the final destination.
Within the region, we did not have a lot of rail-served industrial sites. So the purpose of the rail park was to provide a common single point that any company that wanted to ship and receive product via rail could do so without having to have direct access to rail. What that does, that allows companies that don't have access to rail to reduce their shipping costs, be competitive with the trucking industry, and also allows them to develop new customers and new suppliers.
30 years ago, we were a fractured 5th Congressional District. Today, in 2016, we are a combined 5th Congressional District, where we feel comfortable working alongside one another, working and give and take, and putting our resources together to economically benefit the 5th Congressional District.
I do believe that a part of the challenge of rural Kentucky has been low expectations. And I think that SKED has been a pioneer in that regard, that we can do better, and that when we work together, opportunity can abound.
We got people to thinking together. As a region, we can do a lot. As one small county, one small city, we're not going to accomplish much economically. But if we can come under one voice, all of us speaking with a loud voice, that we can get the people's attention in Frankfort, and that when we get company or a prospect coming to us, that we can show them that not only will they have an influence in one county, but they will be impacting several counties, and so we become a big cheerleading group for one region.
When SKED was formed 30 years ago, the region generally was lagging behind much of the state, which then in turn flanked much of the region in the United States. Thanks to SKED and other organizations and private industry and private banking and local and state government, federal government, we've largely caught up.
The needs of the region today are very much the same as they were 30 years ago. We still lack a large number of good quality jobs for individuals throughout southern and eastern Kentucky. So the organization will continue to expand its programs as they have in the past. I'm sure the direct loan programs, the entrepreneurial programs, programs like the Technology Park and Somerset Rail Park, those will be ongoing. But the organization will continue to work with local leaders to identify specific needs in their community and offer specific programs.
We have to plan, and nobody gets through this alone. There's not one organization or one person that can do it all. And you've got to have good partners and find those partners that you can collaborate with and share ideas with and come up with solutions together. We're always stronger when we work together as a team.
Well, I think working together and realizing that we could pool our talent, pool our money, pool our energies and resources, our political pool, we could pool that together, we could achieve a lot more than if we worked separately. And that is what we did.
The Portal is a casual dining restaurant and wood-fired pizzeria. It's located in downtown Harlan, Kentucky. We have currently 16 employees. They've been going strong ever since the beginning of 2013. The Portal came about out of recognizing a need in the Harlan area for a casual dining restaurant. There just weren't many restaurants similar to ours that were providing a sit-down atmosphere. So I ended up touring most of the East Coast, various pizzerias, trying to determine what type of restaurant. I specifically wanted to focus on pizza and Italian type of fare, and so toured and checked out a lot of different restaurants along the East Coast and found out what I did like and what I didn't like, and then brought that here to implement that into Harlan. And I was really excited and eager to get things started, and ran into some challenges, and one of the challenges for any opening business without a proven track record is trying to find funding. And so that's where SKED stepped in and was extremely helpful to us. And without SKED, we probably wouldn't be here today. And Ron Kane was instrumental in helping me go through the funding process, and everybody at SKED has really been wonderful to us and very supportive, and we can't thank them enough for allowing us the opportunity to be here and then be successful here and then branch into other things as a result. When I worked with SKED, we went through the business plan and made sure that we had really had all of our ducks in a row and were really ready to go to market with our business. And once we were able to show that it was a viable business and we had a plan in place, then basically we went through the loan process and trying to get the working capital, in my case, that I needed for the business. I think in Eastern Kentucky right now there's a tremendous opportunity for business and business growth in this area, because a lot of people are looking elsewhere and feeling that the economy is down or whatever. And I think that SKED is a perfect vehicle to bring people that want to have their own business, bring them out of the woodwork, start your own business. There's a lot of great benefits of having your own business, and Eastern Kentucky is a wonderful place to have business. I would love to see more people take advantage of SKED and all that they do, and promote and bring some other businesses into this area. SKED has really given me an opportunity to branch into other fields of business as a result from that initial loan that was placed. Now, currently, I'm have another business that is opened in downtown Harlan, working with people with disabilities, and it's doing very well. And then also an additional restaurant was located in Richmond, Kentucky, that is a direct result of the opportunity that was afforded to me by SKED. And for that, I'm very appreciative of SKED for that.
Atlantic India Rubber Company is a manufacturer of rubber grommets, feet, plugs, O-rings, extruded channels. We manufacture probably 70% of our product right here in Kentucky in the United States, and we're proud of that. We bring in unvulcanized raw materials, use compression, transfer molding, and we make these commercial grade products. We actually sell and distribute these products not only nationwide but worldwide. When we were working in Michigan with another factory, we were molding products for Atlantic India Rubber Company. The owner at that time was in a distribution center in Ohio. He came up to the facility and wanted to know if we would be interested in bringing the company down to Kentucky. In December 2003, January 2004, we moved the distribution and the company base and name, Atlantic India Rubber Company, down here to Paintsville, Kentucky. Mr. Green wanted to move to Florida. And then when he did that, we knew he didn't want to keep the business. We were concerned that the business would be sold to some competitors or possibly someone else that wouldn't stay in this area, and the employees that we'd had established and trained would lose their jobs, and this would probably be shut down. I've been in contact with Robin Lee from the Department of Economic Development for Kentucky. She'd been by a couple times offering different programs and other options that would benefit a small business like Atlantic India is. She encouraged me to contact other agencies and see about obtaining the business from Mr. Green. David and I discussed it and thought, okay, let's give it a shot. So basically we met with some people that Robin set us up with to help us with a business plan and so forth. And we met with representatives from MESID and then from SKED to get all the paperwork and get everything going to get the loan established. SKED helped with a small business loan that picked up the portion of the business of the loan that MESID couldn't support. They had access to all the resources needed for us to put together a business plan, get tax returns together, get everything that we needed for the loan application. We had no idea how to do any of that. They have people that can help you get that together. So I believe that anyone, no matter what walk of life they're in, they can go and work with MESID and or SKED and get help with getting all their paperwork in to get their loan needs met. Thanks to MESID and SKED, we were able to get the financing that we needed to secure the building and the business. We were able to stay here in Johnson County and maintain our employees and further the business.
Somerset Recycling focuses on plastic recycling, and we also do some paper recycling. We're doing it in worldwide, but most of our volumes within about 15 to 20 states here in the eastern part of the United States. I started it in 1984 in Science Hill, Kentucky. We had one employee back in those days. We transferred the business to this current location in about 1986. In January of '97, the business burned to the ground. We had a devastating fire, and there was nothing but ashes and a little bit of scrap metal left. After the fire, there actually became 3 jobs. One is trying to deal with the insurance investigators and deal with the trauma associated, because the business was still burning. It burned for 35 days. It smoldered for 5 weeks. So the first job was dealing with the fire. The second job was to try to continue the business operation, because we had suppliers and customers and employees. And then the third job or / opportunity and challenge was how are we going to rebuild it? Because part of the challenge that we had, we couldn't borrow money very effectively, because when I was soliciting financing to rebuild it, well, actually at that time it was still smoldering, and if you looked at our business model, it was not that successful, and we had a hard time trying to attract financing. And so I knocked on a lot of doors, a lot of banks, and I met the fine people at SKED. They were aware of our challenges and our history. Greg Jones was always positive, very candid. He listened. He was attentive, and then he provided some options. He was pretty aggressive to come up with SKED being part of the solution in conjunction with a local bank, and also the industrial foundation was involved. So we actually there were four loans, 2 from SKED, 1 from the industrial foundation, and then another from a local bank. I found SKED to be very easy to work with. They have a lot of experience. They're run by a very professional organization, and they're not all things to all people, and they are to all companies, and they will quickly identify that. But my personal experience has been very positive, because they're so easy to communicate with, and they can either do it or they can't, and they'll let you know pretty quickly. In my situation, it was worked out and was very successful. Business continues to do well. We're excited about the future We have consistent growth and profitability, and really pleased to have approximately 90 full-time employees, some really good people. Very thankful to have the opportunity to work with some good, hard-working, conscientious people.
I'd have to give up a lot of credit to the volunteers that put the time and effort into making SKED what it is and what it has been and what it will be in the future, and give Congressman Rogers the credit for being the visionary and the one that kept us all to the task and taught us that if you make a plan and you work a plan, you will be successful.
We have to start looking forward of what the next sort of employment's going to be. And we have to be able to tie that in with the education system and private business. I think we can do that and really be successful and be a catalyst for that.
It is extremely important under SKED's leadership that we come together as a people, as the Kentucky Highlands, the Community Ventures, the Masids, the Pine Mountain Community Action Agency, that we all come together with one common thought, and that's how do we create employment in the 5th Congressional District. And SKED is going to be a key component of making that happen in the years to come.
I think a part of what I hope that we can do across the board in rural Kentucky is to understand the commitment and the need for entrepreneurship. And whether it is a stay-at-home mom who has access to the information highway, or it is a manufacturing startup, a small manufacturing startup, whatever it is, that we can think outside the box, be innovative, and create the atmosphere where our expectations are high and that we can do just as well as any other group of people anywhere.
The only other thing we have needed was that so-called interstate highway, which is now the internet. And we're now bringing that through SOAR throughout Kentucky. And organizations like SKED will be able to recruit those types of businesses like they've never been able to before. And I think we'll be highly successful.
One of the strengths of the organization is the community leadership that serves on the board of directors. They are made up of individuals throughout the region that serve on the board, that provide advice and counsel on how the organization should deliver its services. The organization has a very professional, experienced staff that look at other parts of the region, other parts of the nation, and adopt new programs and bring those here and implement them so that we can benefit the residents of the region.
I think the future needs of SKED are tied to the needs of the region, and we'll adapt to what those needs are and find the resources with the help of our partners at USDA, ARC, and all of those agencies and state agencies, and the Cabinet for Economic Development, and Congressman Rogers with his continued vision for the region. We're going to continue to adapt. This has not been a static organization for 30 years.